Hey everybody, it's Spence, and welcome to another session of Crocheting with me. Because, well, I'm actually working on something pretty cool. So, let me first explain. So, I just changed my Instagram to Crochet Cosplay, which is a lot of fun. The reason that I do this is because I do a lot of crochet for accessories for my cosplay, for other people's cosplay. And have to take my headphones off. And so I like doing the little touches. So what I'm doing with today's crochet, so I have a cosplay for Utena from the show Revolutionary Girl Utena. I've got the military style jacket that I've put red ribbon on, and then the epaulettes that go on the shoulders. I've crocheted those. I crocheted the little chain that goes on the from the neck to the shoulder. And so the only thing that I haven't had was the sword. And so one of my friends loaned me their boffer sword. And so last night I made a crochet cover to take the black foam part and turn it silver. And because I have a lot of crocheted elements, this totally makes sense for my sword to also be crocheted. So I've got that. So now the biggest part I have to do is to cover the basket, if you will. So I have that same gold crochet thread that I was using on the cosplay, on the jacket, and I have a ton of it. So I figured I would go ahead and start working on a little sleeve for the boffer sword. Now, why am I doing this instead of just painting it? Wouldn't painting it be easier? Yes, it would be easier, but since I don't own this sword, and this sword would also be used for other things, having a slip cover instead is smarter, because that way you can use this in many different purposes. So essentially what I'm doing is I've made the little wrap around here, and when I'm done, I'm going to sew this all together so that it sits nicely along the basket. I'm going to, the only thing I might do is hot glue. There's supposed to be like a gold vine down the hilt, and so I might hot glue a chain down here. Probably do like a foundation double crochet chain, just because it'll be thicker and I won't have to do it so frequently. But this is really small thread. I'm currently using a 2mm hook. I was using 2.5, but that hook walked away on me. I was in the middle of working on things, and then I went to go show my roommate what I was working on, and it walked away. The other portion that I'll have to do is the middle part of the hilt in the show is supposed to be like green glass. Since I don't want to do it the whole way around, I just made a green oval, which I'll sew on top of the gold. And there's also a red rose at the bottom of this, so I will make a red rose and sew that on. And the nice thing is this will still be able to slide off, so the only thing I'll have to do is just undo the sewing that I'm going to do here, which will be easy enough, and I'll still be able to keep everything else intact. So that's what we're working on. So I'll put the whatchamajigger, sword. It's a sword. Spence makes words good. All right, if you have any questions as to what I'm working on, please feel free to ask them in the chat. I have started uploading my videos to YouTube, so if you want to watch this later, you can go to YouTube and search for the channel Resident Moon, and you will find me. And you can subscribe. You will see my collections for Let's Plays, for Horizon Zero Dawn, and I'm probably going to do it soon for Detroit Becoming Human, or Become Human. And I will also have a collection of crochet things and have some nice little background music so that it's not just me crocheting. Although apparently it's not picking up the audio from music, so I'll just turn that off because it makes sense. Anyway, so yeah, so what I'm doing here is just a whole bunch of double crochets. Why am I doing double crochets? Well, this thread is thin enough that if I do double crochets, it's not going to look too holy. There won't be so much negative space because the crochet thread is so thin and I'm using such a small hook. For a lot of the foundation parts, like down here, I've used a single crochet. I used a single crochet here where it separates from the round. And essentially the way that I come up with these is just trying to figure out, okay, what does this have to do? Like, what's the function of it? And I just eyeball it. And I know I say that kind of nonchalantly, but that's kind of been my problem-solving method, is just, okay, this is what I need to do, let me eyeball it. And through my experience with other projects, like other hats, scarves, the blanket, I did make fingerless gloves at one point. They were more like gauntlets because they came all the way up to the elbow. But, you know, from those experiences, you learn things like, okay, if I'm doing a fan stitch pattern, I need to make sure that my beginning chain is in multiples of 5. Or if I'm doing X, I know that I need to have multiples of Y. You know, you never thought you'd use all that algebra that you learned in high school. So yeah, this is what I'm doing. And I could talk for ages about why I love Utena. Utena is how my girlfriend and I really connected. And one day, I hope that she and I will be able to do Utena and Anthe in the same space, because that would just be amazing. But Anthe's cosplay is a lot harder because Anthe wears this big red ball gown. So I could totally crochet up the tiara and the accessories. But making the dress itself is a little bit beyond me. The other reason I'm doing double crochets on this hilt slip cover, I guess that's what we're going to call it, the hilt slip cover, is that it just works up faster. Why do I have to do it faster? Well, because tomorrow I am going to something called Nerd Fest, New Hampshire, which is up in Barrington, New Hampshire. And I decided I was going to cosplay it. And I happened to mention to a friend of mine that, you know, the only thing I don't have for this cosplay is a sword. And they went, oh, I have a sword that I use for LARPing, but I don't really use it that much, and we're in the off season. And I said, oh. So they actually had a pair of swords, and so I am using one, and they have the other for when LARPing season starts again. But yeah, so this is the other reason that I'm doing the slipcover, is because the sword is technically not mine, and I don't want to damage it. And if you want to find any other of my cosplay pieces, I'm pretty sure I've put them all on Instagram. So my Instagram is crochet_cosplay. And if you are interested in any of the purchasable crafts, you can go over to our the Facebook page, Fun with Yarn and Thread. The link is, let's see if I can get this right there. See this? That's our link. So you can go ahead and head over there, and my friend Val and I make pretty much anything. And, you know, if we don't have a pattern for it, you know, I might make something up like this, because there's no pattern for a sword slipcover. I could totally write this down, but that's time consuming, because then I'd have to remember what I'm doing. And this is a lot of trial and error, because especially when I was doing this first round, I had to redo it a couple of times because it ended up being too wide, so it wasn't sitting nicely on the hilt, on the bottom of the hilt, so I had to pinch it in. And I would have gone live with this last night, but it was like, let's see, I started this somewhere around 1 in the morning, and I went to bed around 5 in the morning Eastern time. I have a very strange sleep cycle, and so if I wake up in the middle of the night, I just get up and do things, anything that I can do quietly, so that my roommate doesn't get disturbed. And usually what that means for me is I put on one of my podcasts and just go to town. And that's really fun for me, because as much as I love crocheting, watching TV shows, sometimes the TV shows will distract me visually. And then I will not make progress like I want to. But thanks to a bunch of my friends, I have 4 or 5 podcasts that I am now listening to the backlog of. And they're podcasts that I'm learning things from. The one I'm on a kick of right now is Tarot for the Wild Soul with Lindsay Mack. And I love that show because I love tarot, and I want to learn more about other people's interpretations of cards, and outside of what's in the guidebook. And so they make that show gives me new perspectives on different cards and understanding more about numerology and all this other stuff that I've seen but I don't know anything about. So I'm learning and I'm crocheting. And when you're doing a very repetitive pattern like this one, or the sword. The sword, these are, once I got the top finished, because the top is kind of slanted, so once I finish the top, the rest of this is all half double crochets the whole way down. Round and round and round she goes. I didn't want to do row by row, so I just did a spiral all the way down. It made it easier, less frustrating. But yeah, so when you're doing something repetitive like that, having a good podcast to listen to so that you don't have to pick your head up is great. Also, if you like audio dramas instead, even better. Gosh, if I went back to some of the old audio dramas that I used to be on and listen to them now, I probably get lost. Alrighty. So yeah, just doing a little crochet while I do other things. We're in the pre-winter slump for audio work, so I don't have anything to be editing at the moment. Which is kind of good given that I've got a lot of crochet projects that I want to do, and I've just been putting them off. Which happens. It happens sometimes. And thankfully my yarn stash is very big. So I have a lot of pretty yarn that I'm going to be doing prototypes of different hat patterns for. And so that might be something that I put up in the coming week or so. Oh, hey, did you guys watch last week when I made my character for the Extra Life campaign? Guess what? That Extra Life campaign is going live as of a week and a day from now. If you don't know what Extra Life is a charity that supports the Children's Miracle Network. Our GM, Christiana Ellis, has chosen Boston Children's Hospital as the hospital that she wants to support, and I have had the privilege of playing in this campaign, or in the Extra Life campaigns, I should say, for the last 3 years, and I'm very excited to do it again. My character I made on this channel recently, and I will be putting that video on YouTube later today, if I remember. If not, I will probably put it up on Sunday. Just kind of trying to build hype, because we want to raise money for sick kids and we want to have a good time. And I'm going to be in the campaign for the full 24-hour marathon. It's going to be 12 hours each day, so 10 to 10 on Saturday and Sunday, November 2nd and 3rd. And that's going to be exciting. Oops. So yeah, you should check out my other video for making my Extra Life character, or you can check out Christiana Ellis's Twitch channel, because they have the link right up on their banner, and they do, or she does a lot of she puts up a lot of content, like daily content. It's kind of awesome. And then after Extra Life, we start getting ready for Thanksgiving. And after that, like the weekend after that, I'm heading to PAX Unplugged. I still have to finish reading up on the game that I'm going to be running for Genesis. And that will be fun. I've never been to any of the PAXs, but PAX Unplugged seems like a good time. And I'm not just going to be running games. I'm also going to look around and maybe try to sit in on a game or two, if possible. And I get to hang out with a bunch of people from Penny for a Tale, and that makes me excited, because I haven't met any of them in Meet Space except for Amanda. And Amanda's going to be there. She's awesome. Let's see. So I'd be interested to know. So I know you can't, you can put comments in the YouTube channel. So in the YouTube channel comments, you know, if you've got a really cool cosplay idea, or you do cosplay, I would love to hear about it. If you've crafted something pretty creative, or had a creative solution for something that you just couldn't buy, or you were having issues making, you know, I would love to hear about those, because cosplay is fascinating to me. And, you know, this is my third cosplay attempt, I guess, because there was my first one, which was Sailor Neptune. So with this very thread, I made a whole bunch of Sailor Scout tiaras for all of my friends, and I made one for me. I made my gloves. I made them fingerless gloves because it just works better for me. And they were like the cuffed gloves that come up to the elbow, and then they have like a green stripe on them. I made my whole sailor outfit. It does not fit me anymore, so I'd have to redo it. But I kind of know how to now. My hair was a bright emerald green at the time, so it was perfect. And then I had made a mirror. Like, I was just like, I don't know what I should make the mirror. And I cut out the shape with the Amazon boxes that I had and glued them all together and just made the mirror. And I know that sounds very nonchalant, but I'm like, I know how to make piñatas, and making a mirror should be easier because you don't have to have a hollow space. And I'm just following the character design from pictures online. She was always my favorite. Her and the romance with Sailor Uranus was everything to me because I felt seen with those characters. I'm trying to think, what did I crochet? Oh yeah, the other things I crocheted for the Neptune cosplay was the choker. She has a choker with a sun on it, and I said the tiara, and then I made a messenger bag to go with it, which was fun. I still use that messenger bag. Right now it's actually holding all the cosplay accessories for the Sailor Neptune outfit, because I know I have to remake the costume itself, but I at least won't have to redo the accessories. I would love to really work up a steampunk Sailor Neptune outfit. That way I could wear pants instead of a skirt. That's the other thing I like about Utena. So if you've never seen Utena Revolutionary Girl, she is this girl going to a private high school, and instead of wearing the girls' uniform, which is, you know, the short skirt, the white blouse with the puffy sleeves and a neckerchief, you know, she wears kind of a boy's outfit. So she's got red shorts on. Does not make any sense, but whatever. And the boy's jacket, and she's very good at sports, very good at critical thinking, not very good at math. Sounds a lot like somebody I know. Me. And, you know, it's she's just awesome. And so I liked that she only wore a dress at one point, and that was at a point where she was really doubting who she was. And that was a big influence on me. And I liked it a lot. And the jacket that I got, I actually found on sale at Torrid, which made my day, because I love the way Torrid's clothes fit. And it was just enough where I didn't have to do too much to make that that jacket work for the character of Utena in her combat transformation outfit. So I'm going to talk about hypothetical questions that you all might ask yourself. So with the design of this slip cover, you know, why do I have it coming off of the round like this? Well, it's so that I can wrap it around the handle. I was thinking of just doing a straight strip, but then I realized that it wouldn't fit on the handle and it might bow in weird places. So if I have it fitting along the handle like a sleeve and just sewn on the side, it will sit better, and the shape of the basket would keep its integrity. I've thought of a few different ways to do this, because when I drive for long distances, which I do a fair bit amount, and I don't have anybody else in the car, I try to troubleshoot things while I'm listening to usually video game soundtracks or something. And so I was like, okay, how am I going to get it to sit on the hilt? Well, I could create a tie at the very top that would go around both ends of that would like tie around this section, and then I could have it wrapped down. I said, yeah, but that's not going to take care of this part, especially down in this area. I want to keep this really nice curve, because I think it's I think it's very visually pretty. So then I was like, well, if I cap it at the bottom and then tie it off at the top, that would work better. And then I'll hot glue around this or something, because hot glue comes off pretty well. So yeah, I spend a lot of time trying to figure out the function of things. And crochet seems to be the only medium I can do that with. Crochet and paper products. I think partially because it's very hands-on for me. If I have to do any critical thinking on like a website or something, I tend to have issues. I know just enough about coding to make me dangerous, and I can figure a lot of things out um, a majority of the time. Now, I'm not going to try to finish this all right now on the stream because I still have craft night, and if you have a local craft night with friends, I highly recommend going. Now, here's the reason why. Going and being around other creatives, even if you're just doing your own projects and talking about life, is a great way to bring other people's perspectives into your craft. You may say offhandedly, I really have trouble with this stitch, or I'm trying to figure out why I can't get X. You may not get an answer, but if you do, you might gain knowledge from someone who's also dealt with that problem, or perspective from a different craft. Crocheting and knitting are two separate animals, but I've had knitters give me great advice on things like making the tension even, or how to end a row, or how to secure things together and make it look pretty. So there's a lot that can be said for that. I've gone to craft days where I didn't know anybody, and ended up coming out of that experience with several new Facebook friends and people who inspire me with the crafts that they work on and they share. I know that our craft night that we're going to tonight, we have a person who does meticulous embroidery. He also does illuminations, lots of very, very fine detail work. So he would love this because it's tiny, and that's the size that he works in. And I am always astounded by his craftsmanship, because it's beautiful. We have a knitter. We've got a person who does watercolor paints. My roommate, he does knife sharpening. He has a knife skill set. We have several people who make costumes or garb. So everybody's got a little bit of a different skill set, but it's very nice to see what other people are doing, get inspired by what other people are doing, or just be in that creative energy. It may be exhausting, but it also hits you in the back of your creative brain of a seed of rejuvenation. And the only reason I say it's exhausting is because I have a 40-minute drive home, and it's usually dark by the time I get back. I'm going to finish this row, and then we're going to see where we're at on the sword. Oh, if you are wondering where I got this this crochet thread, I don't know where it came from. I have a bad habit of going to yard sales, and yard sales are dangerous for me because I'm always like, oh, I can use this, and I have to really talk myself out of things a lot of the time. because am I really gonna use it? Wishy-washy, wishy-washy. But there was this one yard sale a couple of years ago, and this lady was cleaning out her mom's house, and there was a box of yarn and thread. And I was looking specifically for gold thread yarn to make that Sailor Neptune tiara. Now this box had a giant spool of this lovely gold thread, and it also had giant spools of other antique threads and this great cigar box with a little latch on it to hold all of those spools. So I took that home for $2, and it is money well spent, because I've gotten so many things out of this gold crochet thread, and you can see how much I still have. And I love the little cigar box that I've got all the spools of thread in. All right, so I just want to get a progress report here. So we've been going for a little bit. I've been yammering. All right, so got it on the end there. And so all right, so we are almost halfway done. Not bad for starting this at like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I was going very slow last night. I'm going much faster today. I think I'll have it so that this part hangs over the lip, so that the seam that I'm going to be sewing will be not as visible. This is going to be so cool, guys. I'm so excited. I do get very excited about my crafts and having them work. I don't think I give myself enough credit. I don't think any of us really give ourselves enough credit for the amount of creativity that we're able to execute. My friends who are writers, I'm a writer too, but my friends who are writers, they're like, oh, I only did 800 words today, or what have you. That's still 800 more than I did today. You know, you got words down on the page. And it's the same with any kind of endeavor. You know, you need to code a website, but you only got through one tab. You still got through one tab. You know, you're editing a podcast, but you only got through the first 10 minutes. That's still 10 minutes more than you started with. And you troubleshoot along the way, and you figure out how to make things work. And our ability to do so, our resilience to do so, is astounding. And you know, we need to give ourselves a little bit of a break. Even if all we did today was sit and pet the cat and sharpen some knives, the knives are now way more functional than they were before. And your cat is happy because you have given it the appropriate amount of homage. I may actually use this cosplay for Halloween too. I'm going to an adult Halloween trick-or-treating party, and I don't think anyone will know what my character is, but I love how put together the costume is now. I even have the little saddle shoes that the character wears. I found those on a random trip to Payless, and you can tell this is a couple years ago because Payless is now no more, but I went to Payless Shoes, and they just happened to have some saddle shoes that were right in my price range. And I'm going to actually see if I can bring up that image real quick. I know this is kind of boring, but let's see here. Utna Tenjo. Save image. There we go. Okay, and let's add an image. There it is. Alrighty, so let me show you this real quick. So this is Utana with the pink hair, and this is Anthe. But yeah, so the red epaulets, the with the gold around it, I crocheted that. I crocheted the little white rose she's got on her chest. The chain that goes from her shoulder to the green gem, I crocheted all of that. And then I just added white fabric around the edges. So yeah. So I'll just put her right there in the background so you all can see it while I'm trying to work on it. And you know what? I can find a picture of the Sword of Dios. One moment. Images. Yeah. Save image as. Okay. And add image Sword of Dios. There we are. All right. Okay. So we'll put this down here so you all can see. This is what I'm trying to emulate with blah blah blah. What I'm trying to emulate with this crochet project. Oh, that made it really small. There. That'll do. I can't rotate it. But anyway, so this is the hilt that I'm trying to make. And it's not going to be precise, but it's going to give more of a, give the aesthetic of that hilt. So, all right. Enough messing around. Let's go back to it. And so once I've got this to the right length, then I will go ahead and add my little glass oval portion that you see. There we are. So if you look right there, you see it's got like a little green glass. I don't know what it's supposed to symbolize, but I'm going to emulate it like this. Because what matters is the effort. I do like how some people have taken characters and put them in different genres outside of their original intention. So, like, since it's going to be relatively cold, it's December in New Hampshire after all, or not December, it's October. So instead of shorts, I'm going to be wearing leggings, red leggings. But I think that won't detract from the look that I'm going for. Because I'll still have the long pink hair with the layers, as you can see. Let's see here. Nope. Nope. There we go. And I'm still getting used to this camera thing. So you see how she's got like little layers and of stuff. Yeah, my wig does that. So yeah. And like I said, we're a little more than halfway up the handle. And that's part of the reason why I'm using the double crochet on each row, just because it'll work up faster. And that's kind of the point, because we're in a rush. And then in the near future, I'm going to start working on a Nazgul cosplay for one of my friends. But I don't know that I will post that on here because sewing machines make a lot of noise. I'll probably post the pictures on Instagram. It's not crochet, but I still did it. I still made the costume. And honestly, the Nazgul costume, I looked at a couple of different patterns, and it's super easy. It's just a lot of fabric, and making sure it drapes properly. Oh, but going back to like craft night and stuff. So I was talking about my one of my new favorite podcasts, the Tarot of the Wild Heart. And I do a daily tarot pull. The whole hashtag crafty witch is totally a thing. I am out of the broom closet, so I have no shame talking about it. And my card for today is the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man can mean a lot of different things. It can mean a change of perspective. It can mean a shift or a surrender. Like giving yourself into this situation. And going to gatherings of other creative people, even if it's not necessarily the same medium that you're in, will help with that perspective shift. It will help open with an open mind, with surrendering to the situation and taking more in, being open to taking more in. You know, it educates you. And the whole knowledge is power thing, knowledge is also compassion. knowledge is strength. Not necessarily just strength for yourself, but strength for others. You never know when you are the person who has the knowledge or the problem-solving capability to help somebody else out. So you have to be aware enough so that when the opportunity arises to learn something or to pass on some of your learned wisdom, to open up enough to do that. I don't say always be open, because you know yourself. You have your instincts, so you know when to close things down, to protect yourself, to protect others. I know I'm getting all philosophical, but that's what happens when you go into kind of a meditative state while doing something super repetitive. I know people who like go into a meditative state folding laundry or washing the dishes. And that's kind of where I get with crochet, is I get very pensive. But I'm also super excited for this project to be done so that I can like finally have a complete costume cosplay for Utena. That's the other thing I need to do today, is to get out the rest of the cosplay and give it a once over, make sure everything is where it's supposed to be, make sure my wig is brushed out, make any last minute adjustments that I need to. Because I don't want to be stressing about it tomorrow morning. So I'll probably do that after I'm done with the stream. And I am trying to keep these to about an hour. Which we're coming up on. And I will be sure to post the finished product on Instagram and on... I'll check and see if I can put it on the Fun with Yarn and Thread, because this isn't exactly something that I would sell, but it is creative management. So this, I think, will be sewn on somewhere around here. Ooh, you know what else would be good? If I was better at doing gloves, I could totally do an infinity gauntlet with this. Oh well, I'm not good at doing gloves yet. Yet, being the keyword, I need to practice. But I have so many other projects that I want to do first. Actually, you know what I should do? I should measure this out. Where's my tape measure? There it is. Okay. Alright, so from where the solid thing is going to stop, all the way down. Alright, so about 10.5 inches is what I'm looking for. Okay. That way I don't waste so much time sliding this on. Alright, so I have about 5 1/4 more inches to go before I will be done with this. But that's good to know. And it's always good to have a little tape measure with you if you do a lot of crafting, because you'll never know when just having the numbers in the back of your head will make things easier for you. If there are patterns that you would like to see me try, or if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and I will certainly take a look at them and see if I can actually make something happen for us as far as working on projects that you're suggesting. Because like this winter, on top of doing crochet projects, I'm also going to be working on garb for the New Hampshire Ren Fair. Not for myself, but for like loaner garb, that for people who don't have any costumes for the Ren Fair, but we want to make all the vendors and all the participants feel like they're part of the environment. And so we give them tunics and dresses, and I'm going to have to try to make some trousers for people, just to make the immersion experience more, immersive. So make the experience more immersive for people who are not cast and staff and vendors. Especially if we have like new volunteers or what have you, and they've never done any kind of Ren Fair costuming or don't have the funds. I want to be able to give them some options, because that's what we do. But yeah, I would love to hear your opinions, or see some projects that you would be interested in me working on. So now it is about time to part, but I thank you all for watching. If you like what I'm doing, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and click that alarm bell, and you'll see when I upload new videos, whether it's crochet or video games or something else. And next weekend, I hope you will all watch on Christiana Ellis's channel for the Extra Life campaign that we're doing. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Until next time, have a good week, friends. Bye.